Thanks for staying with us. So recently, dispatch operators took to the streets of Lagos complaining over the 250,000 naira registration fee imposed by NIPOST, with also a 100,000 naira renewal fee. The protesters are of the opinion that the government feels dispatch operators are making so much money without taking into cognizance the challenges they face, ranging from sources of the clientele and meetings with client targets and other things. Now, what are your thoughts on this? We have on the show Mr. Jude Blaze Chiwendu Ngosu, a dispatch operator who will be joining us on the show, who's here with us. Good morning. Welcome to the show, sir.
Good morning.
And we also have the general manager, logistics and courier, who is actually the general manager of logistics and courier. The other that we have with us here, NIPOST, who's going to be representing NIPOST. I think it's Mr. Dotun Shonde. Right. Welcome to the show, sir. So we have both of you on set, and I'm going to start with you to tell us exactly what happened and why you protested.
Good morning, and thank you all for having me on the show. My name is Jude Blaze Chiwendu Ngosu. I'm a consigned logistics operator here in Lagos. Now, we've been running our businesses with a lot of turmoil, a lot of pain, you know, and it's been very unbearable. Now, the average cost of a dispatch bike is over 350,000 naira. Now, you have to now do your registration with over 70,000 naira. And now, in the course of the registration, I have with me here letters we submitted to NIPOST, and we also submitted one to the Speaker at the House of Assembly. Now here, we have, for a logistics company running here in Lagos, we have papers from Zamfara, we have papers from Kebbi, we have parking permits for Oyo State, for Ibadan. Now we have papers for as far as Benin Kebbi. Now we have local government papers from Ikorodu, which if you call all the phone numbers, none of them are in existence. All the addresses are all fake. Now we have what we call media paper. You ask these guys, what is media paper? They don't know what it is. Now, because of the nature of our business, we attend to a lot of vendors, you know, food vendors, clothes vendors, and then you have situations where you are on the road, and then the next thing, a local government council boy is stopping your dispatch bike that you don't have this paper. What is the paper about? He said it's for Kebbi. How do you buy Kebbi papers here in Lagos?
Wait, I don't understand. Okay. You mean those certificates that are carrying different states?
Yes.
You pay for it within Lagos?
Here in Lagos. Here is Kebbi. We have Ibadan.
Why?
I can't explain. You know, and then it's as bad as you go to a food vendor who has probably ordered for food for his staff, and then you're picking up food of over 150,000, over 100,000. This local government council boys would stop you, ensure they waste your time, and tell you if you don't send 5,000, if you don't send 10,000, they would waste your ride this time. Now, your office might probably be as far as Shangotedo, and you're stopping your bike in Magodo. How do you now leave Shangotedo and blow all the way to Magodo just to fight these guys? Now, you don't have any choice but to actually pay for something you know nothing about, because you don't want to risk disappointing your vendor, you don't want to risk food getting bad. Now, the government thinks we make a lot of money from this thing, but it's sad, because an average bike makes at most 5,000 naira in a day. Now, from that money, you have to buy fuel, 1,500. You have to ensure you buy recharge cards, 1,000 naira. You have to ensure for dispatch riders, because not all of them actually have a mobile phone that is Google Map accessible. Some of them use very small phones. So for those of them that have mobile phones that are Google Map accessible, you get them data. You know, yes, we don't want to talk about how the government is not doing anything for us. We have decided to do something for ourselves. You know, we're graduates. A lot of us are mothers. A lot of us are fathers, family men, family women, who actually use this business to stay alive. You know, and then when you look at it, at the end of the day, you have to pay. An average rider collects nothing less than 50,000 naira. And because we have a signed agreement with these guys, now you look at the end of the month, you are realizing 70,000 naira. And then you as a company have to pay your dispatch rider 50,000 naira. What's your take home at the end of the day? Now, we are not saying, now our complaint is, NIPOST has also now come. Yes, it is good for them to be regulators. A lot of people have said NIPOST is an operator. They're a player in the game. They shouldn't be a regulator. But no, they have laws binding them to actually regulate us. Fine, regulators. You've come to say, let's pay licensing fee of over 250,000, and the renewal yearly of 100,000 naira. Now, those are for people that have below 5 bikes. Now, for those that have above 10 bikes, they say we should pay 2 million naira and a yearly renewal of over 400,000 naira. How do we make this money? Where do we get them? We are not saying...
So you've raised two issues here.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Yes.
one with the Lagos State government.
Yes.
And there's another with the NIPOST.
NIPOST.
So we'll deal with the Lagos State government a bit later because if we, I
need
wasn't privy
an
to that.
official.
Yeah, sorry
we need
to
an
cut-
official from there to come and explain to us what that is about.
No, sorry to cut you short. Now, this local government chairman, I'm opportunity to know some of them.
Okay.
They deny. They say they don't know anything about these papers. We're not saying NIPOST shouldn't regulate us. Now,
But they should also protect you from this.
Sanitize the system. You know, sanitize the system. We're not saying don't regulate us. No, that was not our fight yesterday.
Yeah.
Before we came yesterday, they were prepared. They knew we were coming.
Yeah.
And they were very, very hospitable, very welcoming.
Okay.
You know, they welcomed us. It was a beautiful meeting. I was very happy about it. I asked some of my people there in NIPOST, and I asked some of us here in Alausa, help us reduce this fee so that we could be able to stay. We heard that we have 200 of operators that have gotten this license. That's over 50 million naira. Help us. Help us to actually leave.
The question before we come to NIPOST.
I just wanted to clarify whether you're against it, but you've gotten to that point now. You're not against what NIPOST is trying to do. You're just against the multiple taxes that you cannot even explain. I'd like NIPOST to clarify the ones that are legal and the ones that are not.
Based on what has been said so far, sir. So there are two issues. What they're being taxed with Lagos State, with the Lagos State, the local government, and also NIPOST. Tell us exactly what's the right... What's the right?
Which one is
What's the reason for NIPOST creating this
one?
system, Seth? Why did NIPOST create this system? And what, you know, because for every time a government is asking somebody to pay, there's something you're doing for them.
Right.
So what are you doing for the dispatch riders to ask them to pay a registration fee for?
Thank you. Good morning once more. It's a pleasure to be on your show. Let me start by saying NIPOST is doing lots. Part of what NIPOST is doing is why I'm here, to sensitize the public, to also educate those who are ignorant or are innocent, you know. And by reason of that, it's not a justification to do what is illegal. Let me start by saying that I'm not here to speak on behalf of Lagos State government. Of course, we have a synergy with them. I can say one or two things, you know, but I would rather want you to invite Lagos State officials as per that. But for NIPOST, let me state this. As private investors, customers, everybody here has a right. You also have responsibility. Now, when you talk about responsibility, it's not just obeying norms, rules, and regulation. No, it's far beyond that. It's about making for a better society, better humanity. So part of the responsibility of NIPOST is to regulate the courier industry and logistics business in Nigeria, to license them, and not only that, to monitor them. Why do we do these three core mandates? To be able to ensure that the environment is well sanitized, for those will-be investors to have quick return on their investment. That's one of the reasons why NIPOST is actually doing what we are doing. Now, what we are doing for the dispatch riders is licensing them, giving them the meal ticket, empowering them to operate in that conducive environment. The question is, if you are not aware that you're supposed to get a license, a permit to operate, and you're operating, that is illegality, that is irresponsible. Now, that does not give you a right to even protest. What we had yesterday, like he rightly said, we had to bring them in, engage them, educate them, enlighten them about things they don't know. I mean, if you're coming to do a business, you are supposed to have a business plan. You have a feasibility study. You have an understanding of the terrain. There are people in the business before you came. You need to find out, you need to know certain things. So the 250 issue is not an issue. To be honest, it's actually not an issue. It's been there. NIPOST has been there.
No.
It's just them. I'm coming. It's just them coming. I am.
Is it new?
It's not new. That's the point I'm making. It's been there for a while. That's why I said no business plan, no feasibility, no market research. If these things has been done, you won't put the cart before the horse. That's what has happened, and it's just a matter of misinformation or some people being misguided or being misled. So NIPOST is offering license to will-be investors. It's a right. Now the responsibility is that you obtain this license, you operate legally. So once you have the permit, we protect you from this kind of menace. It's double tax, it's multiple taxation. And we have engaged other stakeholders, Lagos State Ministry of Transport, we have a synergy with them on this same issue. But that's going to work for the the legitimate, those who are licensed. That's where they are getting it wrong. So we want them in, because they are brothers or sisters. These are also private operators. We want to collaborate. We want to synergize. NIPOST is not competing with anybody. We want the youth, part of the regulation that we have now. This Monday, there was a public hearing. The stakeholders were actually invited. It's only those who are licensed that will actually have the opportunity.
Okay, let me go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll dig further, because some may say that, why don't you clean up the system first, where they are not being multiply taxed, before we now bring in this, or enforce this regulation that is there. But we'll talk about that after the break. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Thank you.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We still have the representative from NIPOST, and we are also here, our representative from the protesters. Now, there was something that I've heard him say. They're not so concerned about being licensed. That's not their problem. They want to be regulated. Yes, but I think the figure, the pricing is expensive. They can't afford it. Did you consider the fact that these are small SMEs? They're still building. They can't afford this figure, because he said there's a 2 million naira fee for those who have more than a certain number of bikes. How did you arrive at this figure, and can it be adjusted to at least give them room to grow?
Okay. Let me say that it has been adjusted. 2020, the same fee wasn't what it is. The Honorable Minister of Communication, Dr. Issa Pantami, called for rule process making an engagement. The stakeholders were actually consulted. We had an interface. We had 3 stakeholders forum. 2 in Lagos, 1 in Abuja. The Postmaster General of the Federation, Dr. Ismail Adebayo Adewusi, was on ground, sat with the operators, the stakeholders, and we had a consensus. Now, that was a review. The last review was in 2001, so 19 years in between. So the amount you're talking about was actually reviewed downwards.
From what to what?
Of course, from 2 million to 250. We had 2 categories of licenses. Now it has been decategorized further to 4 categories. Now we have the international license category. You won't see them complaining or protesting. They are the ones really facing the brunt and having serious issue. We also have the national category of license. We have the regional. We have now the state and SMEs. All this was done on focus for the SMEs, for the youth empowerment, and of course, to create an enabling environment. The new regulation is so flexible that you can migrate from SMEs to national. So it gives you...
I need clarity on the categories you just read out. What I have before me is the international is 20 million for their registration license. License.
That's right.
National is 10 million.
And the renewal is 1.8.
I'll take the renewal in a bit.
Okay.
State is 2 million. Then there's something called municipal.
State is not 2 million.
What I have, just clarify.
Okay.
Is municipal 1 million. Okay. What's municipal? Okay. And then you now have special SMEs 250,000. So if we do not clarify what's between states, municipal, and that SMEs, there might be a bit.
All right, let me clarify that. Thank you for that. That's from the grapevine. That does not hold. That's what was in the past. Yes. That's why I'm here. What we have now is such that it's flexible, gives room for will-be investors to migrate from one level to another. The municipal is abolished. We don't have that again. That's part of the magnanimity of the minister and the postmaster general to accommodate the SME, the youth. So what we have now is a revised or a reviewed regulation from 2001 to 2020. And like I did say, the stakeholders were actually brought together. So you have benefits of sitting at the round table like this to be part of the decisions when you are licensed.
Okay, so the challenge for me, though, is that if stakeholders meeting is involving already players to create a policy that will not affect them but affects newcomers, we are not actually dealing with the people that are going to be involved in the policy decision.
That's right.
We are not talking to the people that will be affected by the new policy. You're talking to those that are already in your system.
That's right.
So I feel that there is room for guidance, but as a media person that's been following the fact that Nigeria is looking for how to internally generate revenue.
That's right.
It occurs to me that this is a revenue generation drive. And how do we now balance a revenue generation that we know our country needs with a revenue generation that might crumble and cripple some businesses that are trying legitimately to make ends meet?
Thank you. That's brilliant. The truth here is we should balance it, like you said. It's not about the internally generated revenue. It's less of that. It's more of promoting ease of doing business, creating conducive environment. Don't forget that some people have invested, made huge investment into the business.
The bigger ones.
Now you don't allow all commerce attitude. Do as you like mentality. You don't allow that. That's why the industry has to be sanitized. There are laws put in place. All you need to do is to get yourself abreast of that. Of course, you find a landing space. It's created such that you can come in as a small player and grow, build your capacity. It's more of that. Now, let me come to the 250, please. Let me come to the 250. I really don't want to talk about that because I said it's not about the IGR. It's not about that. He just said that for you to have one bike, you invest like 400,000. Some of them have like 3, some have like 5, some have like 15. Now let's put average of 300,000. 300,000 times, let's say 10. That's 3 million. You need to have an office. You are supposed to have an office. You're supposed to, of course, not only that, put certain things in place. Your weighing scale, how do you charge? Some of these ethical values and professional standards need to be adhered to for a responsible quality service. Once that is not done, we're going to have problems in our hands. So it's not about the money. 3 million, that's 300 naira, 300,000 naira times 10. Now, licensing fee is a token of 250,000. Now, if you have 15...
So you're saying 10 bikes is 250,000 that you...
No, I'm not saying that. The cost of one bag, let's put it at 300. Of course, it's more than that. You have as much as 700. Lagos State is asking for 200cc capacity. To get that is 750,000. Most of them don't have that. That's the regulation. That's the law. Now we are engaging Lagos State government on that to make it easy for them.
Let me come to you, because I know you want to say something.
Yes, I'd like to come in. So, with all due respect, the figures are not right. Now, Lagos State has said the capacity for a bike to run on the road is 200cc.
That's right.
Now, to set up a logistics company, to actually have one bike, register it, and do everything you need to do, you're looking at way above 800,000 naira. Now, there is no how we can put a bike below 200cc on the road. Why? Because when you register a bike, you do your MOT. You take your bike to VIO office for them to actually take into their clinic to ensure that the bike is roadworthy. Now, we don't want to talk about the double taxation on their own part also. Because now, take your bike into your clinic, they run a test on it, they say it is okay. They give you what they call auto-VIN. Now, after giving you auto-VIN, they still move you to another sector to check if the bike is roadworthy. You have checked to see that the bike is okay. What am I being charged roadworthiness for again? Now, that is that. Now, we also pay MOT. That is generating funds for Lagos State. Now, before, MOT does not have a renewal. But now, because every other person is seeing that, oh, there's a lot of money in this logistics, let's crumble these people. Now, MOT has now come to say, that was about 2-3 months back, to say henceforth, MOT is just an approval to actually show that, okay, yes, your company is certified to run on the road. Now, we went to NIPOST yesterday, and I was shocked. We were told by a general manager that they don't know about all this that is happening.
That's true.
Now, you are a player and also a regulator. It's like being a referee and a player in the same football match.
Exactly.
Do you understand? You are regulating a business you're also doing. Now you said you don't know anything about it, yet you come out to say, let's pay for license.
So let me
bring money.
Based on what you just said, let me pose this question to you, and I have to go on a quick break, because this is obviously a growing sector. So if some people will say that as NIPOST, yes, you want to regulate them, but why don't we make the environment conducive for them to even grow? So that you engage the Lagos State government, clear out all these issues, and agree to a point where, yes, now this is the only fee you have to pay. Once that is clear,
they will be rushing to become members.
They will now want to be members because you have cleared all the gridlocks, all the loopholes they have within the state to ensure not that they want to stay under you. So that's why they will say you're putting the cart before the horse by just charging them to clean up the system for them.
And yes, yesterday they also mentioned that, yes, for the 250,000, we could actually merge. It's not feasible.
Okay.
Now, why is it not visible? It's because you have a brand, I have a brand. How do we merge? We now decide on a name to use and now start going about doing another CAC and doing another registration,
I'll let the
changing your brand and all.
respond to that after this quick break. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be...
Thanks for staying with us. So before the break, I had asked a question because he was asking about all the issues they have to go through within the state. So now I was saying that are the regulators like you putting the cart before the horse? Shouldn't you clear out the system for them before you begin to regulate and invite them so that they can actually really be under your guidance?
Well, I don't believe that we as regulators are putting the cart before the horse. Rather, the illegal operators, unlicensed operators are putting the cart before the horse. The industry is sanitized. We have professional values and ethical standards. Let me clarify this. Lagos State Ministry of Transport, by extant law, they have the mandate to regulate the traffic rules. There are tax tariff that they charge, which is legitimate. We don't have influence over that. We can only engage them, which we are doing on behalf of our members, those who are licensed, to dialogue with them. Now, some of these fictitious rates, it's actually unknown. So both them...
Do you help them investigate?
Yeah, we have done that. We have engaged them.
Okay.
We've been to meet with the Association of Local Government of Nigeria. Okay. I just came back from Abuja. Most of these things it's not
right.
true. Yes, that's the truth, and we have engaged them. It's part of what we do. So I'm saying, all right.
I'd love to hear what you do to enforce the fictitious taxes.
Yeah.
But in this whole scheme of things, is the counterproductivity of this on small businesses who patronize these courier services being put into consideration, and even consumers who would then have to pay more, or even not, find possible courier.
I'd like to come in there. It affects everybody. I would say it categorically with all confidence. DHL cannot offer half the service we offer here in Lagos. You have a situation where a vendor can call you, I need my item delivered expressly within the next 2 hours, and we are delivering. We have a situation I have had to pay over 150,000 naira because a vendor requested for an item for one of my dispatch to pick up in the market. They picked it up and a hoodlum stopped them on the road. Delayed him till the end of the day. The customer decides, I'm not buying, I'm not interested again. The person in the market says, I refuse to collect. It turns to a police case. You go to the police station, you bail yourself at the end of the day. You now buy items you don't even need. Now look at this is my phone has been ringing. I just want to pick the conception. Now this is waste paper baskets permit.
Okay, we'll deal with that with the Lagos State. I think we have to run up, unfortunately. But this is obviously an issue we want to bring out the regulators within the state to see what we can do to resolve this issue. But I'd like NIPOST to have a final word on this as we round up. They need your help. They want to grow. We want to go, and they're asking that you can help them engage the authorities to ensure they reduce all this bogus, I would say, taxes, and also on your own end, if you can consider them further to reduce that figure, because it's still high for now. They can't afford it, according to what I'm hearing. So please, you can take that back to your team where they can review these figures further so that young people like this can grow.
This country is hard.
Okay. It's not this country is not hard. Let's be optimistic. I'm an optimistic person. I believe strongly, that we should look at things critically. The industry is about security, safety of both the operators, the investors, and the Nigerian public. If you are operating illegally, you don't have insurance cover, you don't have a place, to run to when there's problems, you're not doing yourself good. Now we've got a bunch of complaints from the same public. My parcels, my consignment is missing. My consignment, my parcel is not delivered. You can't trace the office of the courier and logistics outfit. People are crying. We have lots of unprofessional acts on the road. Some that are not licensed, some that don't even have the ethical value. Okay. Some of them actually will do better, will do greatly once they take advantage of our training programs, which we offer. We also give them some level of protection from all these things.
We have to run, but thank you very much. Unfortunately, we run out of time.
Yesterday you said you have just 200 actually applied for this license. It shows a lot of us are crying.
Yeah.
We can't afford.
We'll continue to have this conversation. But unfortunately, we have to wrap up this stuff. I think it's a conversation worth having again. To bring it back, because 3,000 people operating, and you only have about 200 registered. That there's a huge lacuna, so we have to fix that. But thank you very much, sir, for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
And we just hope that this can be resolved
so that
everybody can participate in the sector. That's all we can take on this. When we come back, move on to other topics. Stay with us. We'll be right back.